Brendan "Paddy" Finucane, an Irish fighter pilot, became the youngest wing commander in the Royal Air Force history at the age of 21. His story is told in the Shamrock Spitfire. The ascent of Brendan to the top of the World War II fighter pilot rankings is followed in this poignant story. There is a somber reminder of the human cost of war at the end of the film. We quickly review the movie's plot in this The Shamrock Spitfire finale explain post and pose the following query: what happened to Brendan "Paddy" Finucane? Brendan became a pilot for what reason? The video opens with a glimpse into Brendan's early years and his fascination with World War I hero and soldier Mick Manick. Manick was a flying ace in the Royal Air Force, RAF, who was of Irish and British descent. Brendan, who was born in Dublin, had always wanted to follow in his hero's footsteps and was eventually given the opportunity to do so during World War II when he was old enough to enlist in the RAF. How did Brendan become more senior? Brendan's time in the RAF didn't start out well because of his poor performance in flying training. But he began to demonstrate his true potential as a fighter pilot at the outset of the Battle of Britain. He received the Distinguished Flying Cross, DFC, and was elevated to the rank of acting flight lieutenant following his combat wins. After that, Brendan took over as leader of the 452 Squadron. His rigid leadership style initially made it difficult for him to win their regard. However, as he relaxed, his troops warmed up to him and eventually showed him the deference he deserved. Brendan led his troops into multiple successes in airborne combat. Sadly, a few of his squadron's men perished, including Mick, who misplaced his lucky lighter just before takeoff. Nevertheless, the squadron, especially Brendan, who rose to fame for his aerial exploits, showed the Germans that they were a formidable force. With whom was Brendan in love? Brendan gained a lot of popularity among the females as word of his bravery spread, and one of them even took care of his wounds after an especially vicious encounter. But Brendan was only interested in Jean, a girl he had known since he was a young child. His aim was to marry her and launch a chartered aviation company together after the war. Unfortunately, he was not meant to have a happily ever after with his beloved. What became of Brendan Finucane, aka Paddy? Following his engagement to Jean, Brendan assumed leadership of an operation aimed at a German army camp located in Etaples, France. He was struck by a gunshot while operating his aircraft above the German camp. Then, before his aircraft fell into the water, he flew slowly out towards the sea. Although we don't witness what happens to him, his mother finds out in a scene at the end of the movie that her son has disappeared in combat. Since Brendan's body was never discovered, it seems likely that he perished in the sea. Thousands of people attended his memorial service at Westminster Cathedral in honor of this fallen hero, marking the awful loss of his life.